Hello, it's me again, Teacher Claudine, and we are now on our fourth week in English. So it's another day again to have fun in learning. And today we are going to talk about articles a and an, okay? And these are called articles. So I'm going to discuss when are we going to use a and when are we going to use an, okay? So buckle up and enjoy learning. Recognize the use of a or an plus noun in simple sentences. Listen to. Okay. Now let's try this one. Say a or an to complete each sentence. And the picture will guide you in choosing the correct answers. Now let's start with our first activity. Okay, for number one, it says here, Tom has blank toy in his bag. Any guess? What could be the answer? Is it a or an? Okay, the correct answer is a. Okay, very good. For number two, my dad keeps blank hammer. Okay, the answer is a. Okay, and number three, that is blank orange fruit. Now, the answer here in number three is an. Okay, so to complete the sentence, let's read. Number one, Tom has a toy in his bag. Number two, my dad keeps a hammer. And number three, that is an orange fruit. Now, let's have number four. Joshua is playing blank computer games. The answer is A. And number five, we saw blank elephant in the zoo. The answer is an. Okay, and to complete the sentence, number 4 and 5, let's read. Joshua is playing a computer games. Number 5, we saw an elephant in the zoo. Okay, so we use a if the noun that follows begins with a consonant letter and it is only one or singular. Also, we use an if the noun that follows begins with a vowel letter and it is only one or singular. So for a, it's for consonant, and an, it's for vowel, okay? Now, what do we mean by article? Article is a word that is used to modify a noun, and they refer to nouns. And what are these two types of articles? These are a and an, okay? So a and are called articles as they modify nouns. Okay, now let's talk about a first. Okay, so we use a if the noun that follows begins with a consonant letter and it is on one or singular. Again, what are the consonant letters again? So these are B if the noun starts with B, C, F, G, H, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y, Z. If the noun starts with the following consonant letters, we are going to use a. Okay? Now let's have these examples. Okay, first example is a bag. Okay? You have noticed that the noun here is bag and it starts with consonant letter which is B. And that's why we use article a. Okay, another one is a chair. a pencil, a school, a kite, and a radio. Okay, so you have noticed that the nouns here begins with a consonant letter. Okay, that's why it uses an article a here. A bag, B is a consonant letter. A chair, C is a consonant letter. A pencil, P is a consonant letter. A school, S is a consonant letter. A kite, K is a consonant letter. A radio, R is a consonant letter. Okay, so these are examples of using article a plus noun that begins with consonant letters. Now let's answer this one. Blank tablet. What could be your answer here? Is it a or an? Okay, do you have a guess? Okay, the answer is a. Very good. A tablet. Okay, second one, blank notebook. The answer is okay, okay, a notebook. And a cell phone. Another one, a cap. And last one, town. Okay, so let's read one more time. A tablet, a notebook, a cell phone, a cap, a tab. Okay, so these nouns starts or begin with a consonant letters. That's why we have to use article a. Okay, are we all good? Now let's have an article an. Okay, earlier we talked about a, and now we're going to talk an. And we are going to use article an if the noun that follows begins with a vowel letter and it is only one or singular. And what are the vowel letters again? Okay. It's a, o, u, or a, e, I, o, u. So if the noun begins or starts with these vowel letters, we are going to use an. Okay. Now let's have these examples. Example number one, an umbrella. Okay, umbrella starts with a vowel letter which is U. That's why we use article an. Okay, now let's have another example. You have here an undershirt. Okay, another one, an elephant. Another one, an avocado. Okay, another one, an ink, and an owl. Okay, so you have noticed that the nouns here begins or starts with vowels. Okay, an umbrella, U. Okay, that's why we have to use an. An undershirt, it starts with U. An elephant, elephant starts with E. That's why we have to use an. Okay, an avocado. Okay, an or avocado starts with a, which is vowel letters. That's why we use an. An ink, ink starts with I. An owl, owl starts with O, which is also a vowel letter. Okay, so again, if a noun starts with vowel letters, we are going to use an. Okay, now let's have this activity here. Okay, so we are going to put if it's a or an. Okay, let's start. Blank I. Okay, what's your answer? The answer is an. Okay, very good. An eye. Another one, an octopus. Okay, third one, an ant. Fourth one is an egg. And last one, an ice cream. Okay, so we used an article an here because the noun starts with vowel letters. Okay, now let's have more activities. Okay, let's read the sentences and listen if the noun used start with a vowel or consonant letter. Show me your happy face if a or an used correctly, and sad face if it's not used correctly. Okay, let's start. Number one, I gave her a box of pencils. Okay, is the article a used correctly in the sentence here in number one? Okay, the answer is happy face. Yes, it's a happy face because a box is correct. A is used correctly. Now for number two, Troy brought a apple to share. Is this correct? Is a used correctly in this sentence? Okay, the answer is sad face. Okay, why sad face? Because apple, okay, apple begins with a vowel letter. That's why we have to use an. Okay, instead of a, the correct answer is an. So the answer here is sad face. Okay, number three, we always go swimming on a lake during summer. Okay, a lake. Is the article a used correctly in this sentence? Okay, the correct answer is happy face. Okay, happy face because a lake. A is used correctly. L is a consonant letter. And for number four, my sister put sandwiches in an oven. Okay, an oven. Okay, the article an used correctly in the sentence. That's why the answer is happy face, an oven. For number five, I like the pictures in a frame. A frame. Okay, what's your answer? The answer is happy face. Okay, happy face because a frame is used correctly in the sentence. And then frame. F is a consonant letter. All right, so let's have more activities. It says here, give the correct answer after we read each sentence. Tell me if it is a or an. Okay, for number one, we saw blank igloo in the zoo. Okay, what's your answer? Is it a or an? The correct answer is an. Okay, very good because the noun that follows is begins or starts with a vowel. That's why we have to use an. Okay, for number two, May brought blank orange to her teacher. Now, what's your answer? Is it a or an? The correct answer is an. Okay, an because orange starts with a vowel letter which is letter O. Number three, they stayed in a blank hotel on their vacation. Now, what could be your answer here? Is it a or an? The correct answer is a. Okay. Oops. The correct answer is a because hotel, the word hotel begins with a consonant letter. Now let's have number four. Mark will put on blank new shirt before going to the market. Now the answer in number four is an. Oh, okay, it should be a. Okay, the correct answer here is a. It's not an, so it's a typo error because new starts with new shirt, starts with consonant letter which is N. Okay, so number five, I use blank umbrella when it rains. And the correct answer here in number five is an. Okay, very good. An because umbrella starts with vowel letter which is you. Okay, again, for number 4, the correct answer here is okay, not an. So it's a typo error. So number 4, new shirt. And number 5, this is correct, which is I use an umbrella. Okay, let's have more. It says here, identify the pictures, make a phrase out of the picture using the article a and an. Okay, let's have phrase picture in number 1. Okay, so as you can see here, it's he. So if we're going to make a phrase, the answer is he. Okay, we use here because K is a consonant letter. That's why the answer is he. For number 2, okay, what do you think would be your answer here? Okay, what is this picture? Okay, the answer could be an ocean. Okay, and we use an ocean because ocean starts with a vowel letter, which is O. Okay, and for the third picture, we have here, what's this? What do we call this? Animal? Okay, the answer is a zebra. Okay, we use article because Z is a consonant letter. And for number 4, we have here, okay, what do we call this picture? The answer is a piano. Okay, so again we use because P in piano is a consonant letter. And last, okay, what's this picture? The answer is an igloo. Okay, so this picture is called an igloo. Okay, since igloo starts with a vowel letter, we use an article an. Okay. Now let's remember again what is the use of and an, or how are we going to use in a sentence or in a phrase, and how are we going to use an in a sentence or in a phrase. So again, everybody read this one. Use if the noun that follows starts with a, what's the answer? Consonant letter. Okay, you're right. And use an if the noun that follows starts with a vowel letter. Okay, so I'll repeat. We use if the noun that follows starts with a consonant, and we are going to use an if the noun that follows starts with a vowel letter. Okay, so that is all about article and an. And this ends our discussion about and an, and I hope you have learned something on our discussion for today. Okay, so bye everyone and keep safe.